Hey, what's going on? You're tuned into the Daily Geek right here on SweetGeek.tv. I'm your host, Griffin Granberg, and today is October 28th, 2008, episode 59. Woohoo! How about that? Hey, I want to say thanks to everyone that left a comment yesterday. I so appreciated it. I left a comment, I think, on pretty much everybody's, and if I didn't, I will make sure to do that right after this show. Let's get to the Geek News, starting with story number one. We have a lot of stories. Illegal G1s are hitting the Chinese market to the tune of $584 plus $73 if you want it unlocked. That's right, a lot of money for G1 there in the Chinese market. You know what else is very expensive? That leads me to story number two, the BlackBerry Bold without an AT&T contract. I'll give you a second to, guess how much it's going to be. Okay, you got your guess? Was it $680? Well, if it wasn't, then you're either too high or too low. Probably too low, because I was surprised to see that it was that much without a contract. In fact, it is so high that I probably would not even pay it. What about that? At any rate, moving on to story number three, I had a couple questions yesterday about the BlackBerry Storm because I mentioned how the hype seems to be dying down. Well, of course, Verizon Wireless is being very tight-lipped on this. I mean, so much that they're not even putting anything in their commercials. Well, the big news, of course, is that it's going to hit the corporate stores around November 15th, Best Buy the 16th, and then everywhere else on the 17th. So that's basically all the new news I have for you. I'm sorry, Verizon Wireless, they're not very good at this hype like machine thing. They need to get lessons from Apple. I think Apple's somehow garnered all this hype stuff and done very well with it. Let's move on to story number four. AOL is no longer going to be using their own video player. That's right, they've been developing this thing for quite a while, and by quite a while I mean years, okay? And they basically said, hey, you know what, we're going to use Brightcove instead. So that's a huge win for Brightcove because, AOL is one of the biggest video inventories online, period. So why would they do this? I mean, do they just not want to do their own video player? Well, looks like AOL actually has little investment capital in Brightcove, so I guess it would make sense to move, your huge video inventory to something that you have money invested in, so that's why. Plus, Brightcove is a very nice video player software. In fact, we've even looked at it for here on SweetGeek TV. Let's move on to story number five. Amazon has a really cool website that they launched yesterday that I think is worth looking at. Now, sometimes you have, a few bucks in your pocket that's just burning a hole. You need to buy something, or you have to buy a gift. You have no idea what to buy. This is a really cool website. It's called Amazon Window Shop, and it's available at windowshop.com. And basically all it is a cool way to navigate through movies, books, and music. And yeah, it's just very cool. It's hard to explain, and I really don't have enough time here on this video to do it, but you know what? You should just go check it out. It's definitely worth a few seconds of your time. Windowshop.com. Story number six, we talked about Walmart doing the MP3 store, no longer DRM based, but they did release it. It's going to be 94 cents per song, which is 5 cents less than iTunes, but now they came out with a special where they're doing 74-cent songs for select tracks, including the top 25 hits. So I've also gotten emails about where to get the cheapest MP3s. This is a really good deal from Walmart to get non-DRM music for 74 cents per song. Let's move on to story number seven. Yeah, that's right, story number seven. Last story of the day, the ear pressure equalizer. Ever heard of it? Well, basically, have you ever been, going up and down the mountains, or this is probably more likely, on an airplane where your ears, they just plug up and it drives you crazy because they just won't unplug? Well, the ear pressure equalizer is basically something you can stick in your ear, you do a little squeezy squeeze on the little deal, and boom, it unplugs your ears, which I thought, hey, this would be really cool, but is it worth $60? Ooh, that's kind of hard. That's kind of a hard decision because I'm not sure if it's worth that, but you know what? There was one time where my ear got so plugged, it was plugged for nearly a full day, and I probably would have paid $400 for this device. So definitely worth checking out. I'm going to include a link to it on our interesting link section on our main site, sweetgeek.tv. And there you have it. That is the Geek News for October 28, 2008, episode 59 of the Daily Geek, if you can believe that. I'm your host, Griffin Granberg, and before we go, let's do the question of the day. I had lots of people saying I should dress up for Halloween, so the question of the day is, what are you going to dress up for Halloween? Do you have parties to go to? Do you have things to do? Are you taking your kids out? Are you taking your grandkids? What are you going to dress up as for Halloween? That's the question of the day. Make sure you leave a comment no matter what site you're on, whether it be YouTube, sweetgeek.tv, or whatever. I will make sure to comment back on every single comment left. There you go. Anyways, let's do this again tomorrow, and I will catch you right back here then.